What year did you move to, or were you born in OB?
I moved here when I was in the second grade, so I was about 6 years old
Okay.
when we moved here from Biddeford.
This one.
Do you have any siblings? If so, do they live in town?
I have two siblings. I have a brother and a sister. And my sister lives in Westbrook. And my brother lives in Old Orchard. And he's the chief of police here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
I think
He was here yesterday.
for interviewing.
Hmm?
For interviewing. He was here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your childhood like in OOB?
It was great. I've always said, I don't know of another place I would have rather have grown up than here in Old Orchard. Back in the, well, it would have been the 60s and early 70s. It was just a really good place to grow up, a lot of fun. We had a lot of friends, and we all hung out together and went downtown and went to the beach and just had a really good time growing up.
Did you go to was Palace Playland still around then?
Palace Playland was here, but it wasn't the same building that it's in now.
Cause didn't
It was a totally different building.
Cause didn't it have like a fire or something?
It did. Yep, had a fire. Actually, I had a couple of fires there.
Did you go through the OOB school systems?
I did. Yep, I was right here, and like I said, I think I was second or third grade, and then I graduated in 1972 from Old Orchard High School.
Did you have any of the same teachers that are here? Well, yeah. Like,
No, I think they've all pretty much either retired or moved on. Yeah, that was quite a while ago.
first job in OB.
My first job in Old Orchard Beach was I worked for the Palace Playland, but I worked in the parking lot. There used to be a big parking lot where the roller coaster is. That was a parking lot back when I was in school, and I worked in there. And then as time went on, I moved over to run the rides and worked in the arcade.
And what was your pay like?
Oh, it was, I can't remember exactly, but it was like $1.25 an hour or something like that. Wasn't a whole lot.
It wasn't money. Was money a bit different back then?
Well, just that, you didn't get the hourly rate that you get in today. We made, I think it was like $1.10 or $1.20 an hour, and we'd work all week and get $45, and
So-
felt like we were rich.
Yeah. First job in OB.
My first job in Old Orchard Beach was I worked for the Palace Playland, but I worked in the parking lot. There used to be a big parking lot where the roller coaster is. That was a parking lot back when I was in school, and I worked in there. And then as time went on, I moved over to run the rides and worked in the arcade.
And what was your pay like?
Oh, it was, I can't remember exactly, but it was like $1.25 an hour or something like that. Wasn't a whole lot.
It wasn't money. Was money a bit different back then?
Well, just that, you didn't get the hourly rate that you get in today. We made, I think it was like $1.10 or $1.20 an hour, and we'd work all week and get $45, and
So-
felt like we were rich.
Yeah.
What other jobs did you have in town?
In town, well, when after I graduated from high school, I joined the fire department, and I worked as a firefighter in town for quite a few years. It was, and on call, it was meant that I only went when there was a fire. So yeah, I was on the fire department, I was also on the police department in town. And I also worked for Public Works. We cleaned the beaches when we were in high school. We worked, and they'd take us down the beach and we'd clean the beach from like 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day.
So
So
3
we-
hours span of just cleaning this.
just
the
cleaning
trash?
one section of the beach. We each had a section, and that's what we did. We'd go to the beach at 5 a.m. and from 5 to 8 we'd clean our area.
stories about the history of OB that you experienced that you would like to share with us?
Oh, there's a ton of stories about the history of Old Lodge. One of the biggest days that I remember is I was working at the Palace Playland, and on the other side of the street there was a merry-go-round and Noah's Ark, which was a replica of the old Noah's Ark. The coal train, which was mules that take you underground and ride through that all burned one night when we were working, and that was a massive fire.
Was that like? Because hasn't there been like 3 fires?
Yeah, that was the one that leveled that whole side of the street. That was back in I think it was like 1968 or 9 or 70, somewhere right in there. So that was one memory and one historical event that I was at.
What are some things in OOB that drastically changed throughout your time living here, and how have you been affected by it in any way?
I think one of the things that's changed in Old Orchard is the amount of residents that are here. The people that have moved here from different parts of the country, as opposed to the people that were born and brought up here. And it's affected us in a good way. I mean, we've got a lot of different people in town, but it's not the same old people and the families that were here back when I was a kid. It's all totally different bunch of people now. I used to be able to say I think I knew everybody in town. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Because they always change. Okay, how did it make you feel, like how you were affected?
How was I affected? Well, I was not in a negative way, in a good way. I mean, I met a lot of nice new people coming into town, made some friends. So, yeah, it affected me in a good way.
What made you want to stay in OOB as an adult, and do you still feel that way?
What made me want to stay is this is where I grew up. This is where I'm from. I'm an OOB boy. I love the beach. We used to go down and we used to surf almost every day. And it made me want to stay here. Living here made me want to stay here. So I had no inclination to move at all. I really liked being here.
What are your favorite things to do in OB? Because you already said.
Oh, excuse me. What was that now?
You already what was one of your favorite things to do in OB? And you already said surfing, right?
Surfing was one.
Yeah.
Playing basketball was another one. We played a lot of basketball.
Do you have a favorite thing to do in OB now?
Well, my wife and I like to walk downtown in the summer. We always take walks at night. We'll walk down Main Street, and we still go to the beach.
And don't you also you do some refereeing for sports here?
I do. Yeah, I'm a basketball official, but that's just not in Old Orchard. That's everywhere. But I always like coming here.
What was your favorite place to hang out and why? And is it still here?
As a kid,
Yeah.
favorite place, basketball court.
Yeah.
On Atlantic Avenue. We were there probably 6 days out of 7. There was a bunch of guys that we all played basketball. We all liked going there. And even when we weren't playing, that's where we would meet and hang out, right on the basketball court. Somebody always brought a ball.
It's still here.
Game.
Is that court still here?
It is. It's on Atlantic Avenue and Central Park Avenue. And in fact, that court's going to get a big rehab. We're going to do it all over. And it's going to be a good place for guys to go and girls to go play basketball.
Were there any big landmarks that people may not know about today that are still here? Or not still here?
Well, I think one of the biggest landmarks we had here was the pier. With the pier, as it is now, is completely different from what it was back when I was in school. It was a lot longer. There was a huge building at the end There was an aquarium there. It was a destination that people like to go to. And that was one of the biggest landmarks. Old Orchard was always noted for its pier. Everybody come to Old Orchard to see the pier. So, yeah.
What did the pier look like when you were growing up?
Well, it's like I just said, it was a lot longer than it is today. There wasn't as many little shops on the pier. There was a lot of open space where you could stand and look at the water and the ocean and look out to sea. It was, as I said, it was longer, and there was a big building on the end, which at one point had an aquarium that people like to go to. It was a real destination when you came to Old Orchard.
Do you ever miss being a kid?
Absolutely, every day. And again, there's actually no place I would rather have grown up than right here. And being a kid in Old Orchard, I think it's something special because of what we offer. We have the beach down there, and we have the downtown, and it's just a great place to grow up. And I think a lot of people my age would say the same thing.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about, just
About
like
growing up
Yeah.
and being a kid here. Oh, there's a ton of things that I really enjoyed about being a kid here. We had a great Little League program in this summer when I was a kid, and of course growing up, going through the school system here. I've always said this school system is as good as any. I'll match it with anybody because I think you get a great education here. The teachers are very dedicated. It's just a really good school system, and just the town itself, just being here. It's a little small town, but it's a great place to grow up.
Did you ever go to any of the concerts at the ballpark or pier?
Oh, absolutely, I did. Yeah, I saw Rod Stewart was there. I saw the Beach Boys, Grateful Dead. I also went to watch, but when I was on the police force here, I also went there to work for some of the concerts. So it was two different things. I got to be a concert goer in one, and then I also had to work it in another. So yeah, I saw a lot of concerts. Yeah. It was great. Great place to see a show.
Were you here when the famous big bands played? If so, which band is your favorite?
Well, actually, I wasn't. I'm a little young to be here for that, but I've heard that they were very popular. A lot of the big, well-known bands came here and played on the pier, which I think is fantastic. I mean, back then in that era, if you were here, that was great to see those guys, and especially in a little town in Maine, Old Orchard Beach. So it was really good. But unfortunately, I wasn't old enough.
Have you seen the Dummy Railroad? And did you ever ride on it?
Have I seen the what railroad?
The Dummy Railroad?
Oh, no, that was before me. No,
Were you on the beach when any of the planes landed?
I was. Not back in the Lindbergh days, but back when they did a fly-in of the Lindbergh flight. Back, oh gosh, probably 30 or 40 years ago. And I was on the police force then. I was working, and I was down on the beach when they all landed.
Maybe just to please like 3 more questions.
Yeah.
So, how do you spend your birthdays in OOB?
How do I spend my birthday?
Or how did you?
How did I? Oh, okay. Usually my parents had a little party when I was a kid. We all had birthday parties. And I don't know, maybe I went downtown and hung out down there playing pinball or doing something fun. My birthday's in August, so right in the middle of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So Old Orchard was in full swing at the time.
Did you ever go to the dances in the ballroom?
I did. Yep. I've been to several times down for when the when the ballroom was still existing. Yeah, saw some good bands there. Yep.
What were the restaurants like downtown?
What were they like?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were typical restaurants, yeah. Good food, mostly, places. There was a lot of more family type dining than there is now. Places where whole families went. And there was more, I think there were more restaurants than there is today. Because back when I was growing up, the town would, in the summer, it was not uncommon to have 100,000 people in town. And that's a lot of people, going from 9,000 a year round to 100,000 in the summer. So that's they needed restaurants, so there were a lot. There was good food.
Do you think like what will be like the people, like coming or like the amount of people that come each summer or just year round? Is it like growing or is it?
I think during the summer days, there's about the same amount of people in town, but at night, see, it's different because a lot of the people that come in the day come down and go to the beach and then go home. At night, it's the vacationers that are here filling up the motels and hotels and campgrounds. So there's a different number from day to night. And the night, it's pretty close to the same. We've been a great vacation destination for years and years and years, and people like coming to Old Orchard because of the 7 miles of sandy beach we have. So,
Do you think like OOB was more popular back then or is it more popular now?
I think probably about the same. I think the people that come, a lot of people that vacation here now, adults, they'll always say, "Gee, I came here every summer as a kid." So they just keep going, and they come back year after year, and then they bring their families back. So it starts a whole new generation over it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anything else you'd like to share about? Yeah, just
About
like
growing up
Yeah.
and being a kid here. Oh, there's a ton of things that I really enjoyed about being a kid here. We had a great Little League program in this summer when I was a kid, and of course growing up, going through the school system here. I've always said this school system is as good as any. I'll match it with anybody because I think you get a great education here. The teachers are very dedicated. It's just a really good school system, and just the town itself, just being here. It's a little small town, but it's a great place to grow up.